Welcome to Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic. I'm Sharon, your resident skeptic who asks all the tough questions. And with me is Jennifer Neal, our manifesting maestro. Whether you're rolling your eyes or raising your vibration, we dive into all things manifestation, mindset, and energy from every side. Hit subscribe, settle in, and get ready for spirited debates, surprising experiments, and laughter on the journey to creating a life you love. Today, we're going to talk about how manifestation meets effort. When the universe hands you the ball, you still have to take a shot. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing today?
Just great. How's it going?
Fantastic. So, you are our resident believer, all about energy and cosmic experimentation. I think you're pretty excited about this topic, aren't you?
Yeah, because I think one of the biggest misconceptions around manifestation is that, I'm going to call it when effort is required because we always talk about letting go of the how, going with the flow, riding the river. Because yes, sometimes the universe lines up the energy perfectly, but you still have to pull the trigger.
Well, yep. And I'm the friendly neighborhood realist. So I'm just going to make sure we don't drift completely off the planet while you're moving us forward today. So, what you're saying, I'm hearing, is manifestation isn't just lighting the candles and making the vision boards and waiting for UPS to deliver your dream life, is it?
Well, I have to say, I've had many manifestations that looked like a UPS delivery, but no, sometimes you've got to hit publish, or for example, this podcast, like we had to publish the first episode. We have to make the call. We have to say yes when opportunity knocks. I'm in the middle of a contest right now. We may or may not have talked about it last time. I can't believe it with Gary Vaynerchuk. And, he said to us, launch your product right now. And I want the outcome of the product sales, but I was scared to launch the product, but I had to launch the product. So alignment doesn't replace action, it informs it, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so I'm going to admit this. This part always has me tripped up. And when I hear people say, don't chase, attract, I think, okay, well, that's great. But if I don't chase, nothing happens. Bills don't pay themselves.
Here's the quote that actually means that you've used it correctly. You don't chase from lack, you act from alignment. And there's a difference between forcing something because you're afraid it won't happen and moving towards it because you know it's already yours. For example, in this contest, we have to sell at least $555 worth of product to be entered into the contest. Now, I could very easily call 5 of my very best friends and say, would you buy my product? I'll pay you back. I've got to get into this contest. But that would be me forcing it. I
Right.
got to let them come. If I trust that the universe is a good universe and has my back.
Okay, so it's not no effort, it's actually the right effort.
Exactly. Inspired effort versus desperate effort. Inspired effort feels, I'm excited to take this step. Desperate effort means if I don't do this, everything's going to fall apart. And again, an example of this with this contest was I have been futzing about with buying this particular tech stack for over a year. But when Gary Vaynerchuk launched that he's actually an advisor and an investor now, I hit the button immediately because I waited for the opportunity to come, but I still had to pay the money.
Okay, so that's a really subtle line. So, how do you actually tell the difference?
Your body will tell you. Inspired action feels expansive, and in many cases, it's fast, right? It's not deliberated, it's not hummed and hawed. Desperate action feels tight and anxious. You can literally feel the frequency difference in your body.
Okay, that's interesting.
So let me give you an example. A few years ago, I kept saying that I wanted a new business and I wanted a new business and I wanted a new business that was focused on my creativity and my ability, not always selling somebody else's product, which is what I've always done and done very well at. I journaled on it. I visualized it. In fact, I'm rereading a book right now that I read a year ago by Genevieve Berrand. and fascinating book. I think everybody should read it. And I wrote in the column a year ago, April, I want to find something that my heart will sing at if I do every single day of my life. And a
Okay.
year later, here we are now, 2025. April's gone by. So a year and a half later, I've now launched this podcast with you, writing a book in this topic, just launched my first product in this topic, and I have another project on the go. So I hesitated, but only because I didn't want to force what it was. I wanted to let it come to me.
Right.
All of a sudden it was real. It does require effort to write a book, to launch a podcast, but it was sent to me to act on instead of me forcing it to act on. Does that make sense?
I mean, it's sort of the moment where, the rubber hits the road, as it were. Making a decision is often better than making no decision because inaction can lead to missed opportunities or negative consequences, right?
Yeah. I mean, the universe has already said yes energetically the minute you ask for something. There is a
Right.
yes held for you, but it's waiting for you to say yes, not just physically, but also in the right energy by taking that simple action. And that's what we call closing the loop.
So you're saying that manifestation doesn't land until you complete that loop.
Totally. Like, I can't be a podcaster until I publish a podcast.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I understand. So what you're saying is energy starts the process, but it hurts. But the effort is what anchors it in reality. So, okay, I get that. It's a good analogy. So you're sitting there thinking about how great your email sounds, but if you never hit send, no one ever reads it.
Exactly. You manifested the content, but not the delivery.
Okay, so let's test this out with something real. So remember when I was manifesting that speaking gig on the cruise ship
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. I did
Yeah.
all of the law of assumption stuff. I acted like I already had it. I've got suitcases on the bed with stuff in them. So I'm, packing for the trip. And I also, sort of followed up internally and externally. And it feels awkward. So is that me trying to force it?
Not if it's inspired. The test is when you did the follow up, did you feel aligned with the version of the person that would be speaking on going on that trip? The
Yeah,
version of you, the version of you who is the speaker, who would absolutely follow up. Like, let's play that out a little bit. If you were leaving on the what did you say? The 22nd of the month, would there be some back and forth between you and the ship before you got on that plane?
absolutely. I mean, there'd be tickets and there'd be conversations and there'd be preparation.
Right? So
So
this
it's
is
not sit back and wait. It's move like the person who already has it, which is what you explained to
right.
me before.
Exactly. So you are embodying the person, the identity of the person that would be doing the thing you want. And that is confidence in action.
Okay. So I'm going to give you that one because honestly, you know, I'm still in the process of manifesting this and I'm trying to be very clear about it. And, I've worked on my talks. I'm ready to go if someone says show up and I'm excited about it. So I keep thinking about preventing stagnation and developing myself to add value.
Awesome.
Okay.
And the universe will match that energy. You have shifted the vibration from poor me, Sharon didn't get the cruise, to I'm ready, I'm anticipatory, I'm excited, and I'm doing all the things I should be doing. And the universe will match that energy. You have shifted your vibe. And so reality will shift to meet it if you're being honest with me about how you really feel inside, because I don't know that part.
Right. But, as we discussed before, whether it comes or doesn't come, this is a fun experiment.
Absolutely.
Right.
Without a doubt.
So, what about people who are saying, I'm waiting for a sign? How do they know if the sign is the moment to act?
Well, for me, the sign is usually the opportunity that scares you a little bit, but excites you a lot. Okay. It's the one that feels like, oh my gosh, this actually might work. This is my green light. Like the Gary Vaynerchuk launched this contest with this stuff I wanted to buy. And I was like, that's my sign, Jennifer. And it was scary. It was 300 USD to buy. Maybe, but that was my green light. It was my green light. And the fear is just your nervous system recalibrating to a higher frequency. That's all.
Okay, so I'm going to pop in here with some of this skeptic piece, arguments for strategic hesitation. Let's call it that. So,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
yeah,
Sounds
I know.
very scary.
Right? So, informed choices. You need to take time to gather information and understand the situation so that you've got more sustainable success. You want to avoid costly mistakes, maybe where there's high stakes happening or a significant financial investment. So, a quick decision could be a bit more damaging than waiting for some clarity. Or you might look at a situation where waiting might be better than action, like really that discernment. So, how do you then, balance some of those arguments for strategic hesitation?
The reason I'm pausing is because there are people that I know in my life that the green light couldn't be any greener. It couldn't be any greener. It isn't yellow. It's certainly not red. It is a full green light. And yet they cannot pull the trigger. They cannot make the decision. They are so scared. And we talked about this before this episode. They are so scared of making the wrong decision, they don't make any decision. And there
Right.
are people, and I know them well, and I just want to take them by the neck and shake them because, of course, that's my personality. Like, when is it going to be perfect enough for you to do the thing you say you want so badly?
Right. So, in some respects, this sounds like making a decision is better than not making a decision. Part of what I'm hearing, yes, I hear the manifestation piece, but there's also the trust your intuition and trust your gut in here too.
Yeah, and listen, intuition, gut, and God are all the same thing. And
Okay.
that's what we're talking about is trusting in something higher than yourself that's guiding you towards all the things you said you wanted,
Right.
right? But you would be shocked at how many people will manifest, as I say, the perfect green light or the perfect situation, and then they talk themselves out of it. Oh, it's not the right time. I don't know if I'm ready. Maybe later. Maybe when I clean up. I had a friend who was dating for 8 years in our 20s. And the guy in the relationship kept saying, "Well, once I get a better job, once I have more money, once things are more stable." Guess what happened?
Tell me.
She walked out. It was like, "You're what's left."
Yeah.
He had the perfect girl.
Well,
Like readiness, manifestation is readiness in motion. It doesn't wait until you feel 100% confident. But if you are 80%, this looks really good, smells good, feels good, is good, that creates confidence. You will get more confident the more you move.
look, and I guess here's the other side of the hesitation that one might have or the strategy behind it. And that is none of us are getting any younger. We're getting closer and closer to whatever that next plane might be for us. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen in 40 years. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of times it's just get out there and live your life. Don't let life live you.
Yeah, go with the flow.
Yeah.
But again, if you've thrown anything out into the ecosphere, what's the word I'm looking for? Into this, like, they call this the creative stuff, all this stuff here, it turns into stuff, right?
Right.
If you've thrown anything out into the universe, think something you might wish or want, or a problem that you might want to have solved, don't be surprised if the universe starts throwing you bones as to how to get it or solve it. And, back to that whole idea of being scared to make a move. How many times have you gone to a restaurant? I do it all the time. I go to a restaurant, I look at the menu, I'm like, I'm having that chicken parmesan, my favorite. And then I start going over and going, yeah, but that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good, and the beef ribs, right?
Yeah.
And I end up ordering the beef ribs. And after I get them and I've finished them, I'm like, you know what? I should have had the chicken parm. That first decision, that gut instinct, there's something in that.
There's another side to this, right? And that is you don't need the perfect plan. For once, I'll give an example. I was out to dinner with a friend last Friday night, and we went to what's been hyped up as being a spectacular restaurant. My friend's been there before. She said it's amazing. You're going to love it. And it was a place I really, really wanted to go to. And we come up. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The staff are lovely. It's going to promise to be a lovely evening. I live in a place that's quite casual. We dressed up. We were ready to just have a great evening. I ordered myself an amazing cocktail and looked at the menu, saw what I wanted, asked for it, got the response. We don't have that tonight. I'm like, okay. So I went to second choice. I'm like, I'll order this. The dish comes to me and it's not what I ordered. And it is so far away from what I wanted or ordered. I never do this. I sent it back and I said, this is not what I wanted. And my friend had ordered her meal and it looked amazing. And she said, look, have half of mine and just order something else. So I just ordered another appetizer. And it turned out to be fantastic. So sharing her meal and then having the appetizer, which we shared. And then they came back and said, we're so sorry. Here's a dessert. Never in a million years would I have ordered this particular dessert because it was weird. It was like sweetened roasted cauliflower with what I think were chanterelle mushrooms,
Wow.
which sounds like a side and not a dessert. It was delicious. And as we're sitting there, there's a couple next to us, and it's one of the person's birthdays, and they're taking the selfies with the piece of cake, with the big cake they brought in. And I said, can we take a photo for you? And they said, yeah. So we took a bunch of photos for them. My friend and I continued to enjoy our dessert, and then they turned to us with two more pieces of cake. And so then we ate some of their dessert too. So here's the thing. Had I got what I wanted and didn't send away what I didn't order, I never would have had those spectacular desserts, nor would I have had that interaction with that lovely couple and what turned out to be a spectacular evening with my friend. So, all of this to say that sometimes the decision isn't necessarily the decision, and life opens up some more spectacular opportunities for you.
Great example. And a question, how did you feel when you contemplated, because you said, I never do this, I never send the meal back. How did you feel when you contemplated sending the meal back?
I would rather have sent it back and not been disappointed because I pushed myself to have something I didn't want than have had something I didn't want, which would have ruined the entire evening.
So, in other words, what you're saying is you kind of didn't really have a choice as far as you were concerned.
I don't know that I didn't have a choice. I think what I would have said was it was felt better for me to be
That's my
true to
point.
myself
Yeah.
and to be exactly who I wanted to ensure that I had a great evening and not feel like I ate a mediocre meal and walked away going, well, they messed that up and that didn't
Yeah.
work, and da 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 da. That I could walk away saying, had a great evening.
Exactly. And the key there were the words you just said. I could not have been true to myself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
You were true to yourself. Universe knew, universe is self. Universe knew how to get you to a great experience,
True. Okay.
right?
I will buy into that as it were. Okay, so
Anyway,
let's wrap this up a little bit. Effort isn't the enemy of manifestation from what I understand. It's the expression of it.
exactly. The universe delivers the potential, right? Here's
Okay?
what you said you wanted, but you deliver the physical proof.
And the balance is knowing when you're pushing from fear versus moving from flow.
Yes. So here's your little nudge for the week, what I call a prescription. When an opportunity or a nudge or a next step appears in line with something you've said you've desired, you've wanted, or a problem that you've wanted solved, don't overthink it. Don't ask, is this the universe? Because if it's aligned with what you wanted, you can bet your bottom dollar it is the universe. So act on it. And here's a little test. So if you can say, this feels a little scary, but it feels very right, do it immediately.
Okay. So my skeptic homework, I guess, is question if your inaction is actually fear in disguise. So sometimes waiting for the right time is maybe just perfectionism dressed up in spiritual clothing. Just do it.
Yeah, like I couldn't have said that any better. Done.
Okay. Look at me. I'm turning into half a believer over here. Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's happening, folks, one step at a time. I'm getting her there.
Now, I gotta stay the skeptic. Okay, that's great, Jennifer. Amazing as always to chat with you, and looking forward to our next podcast. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend, believer or skeptic. And don't forget to leave us a review so others can join in the debate. Plus, check out Jennifer's TikTok account, Manifestation RX, where she writes daily prescriptions for manifesting your dreams. Think practical tips with a dash of magic. We love hearing your questions and stories, so tell us what you're manifesting or questioning this week. Until next time, keep an open mind and maybe manifest a little magic.